Secretary of State John Kerry kicked off 2 days of meetings in Geneva today, hoping to flesh out possible details on Russian President Vladimir Putin's proposed plan to rid Syria of its chemical weapons. It's a complicated task that, according to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, will mostly deal with technical details required to safely secure and destroy the weapons stockpiles. But it's not only about the logistics. Part of John Kerry's visit will be spent assessing the seriousness of the proposal and if Russia has any intention to stall the process.
Well, where we are right now is the whole idea of military strikes is on pause because we are pursuing a potential diplomatic solution with Russia and Syria. There's two sides to consider when we talk about what this diplomatic solution is. One is the practical task at hand, which would be the international community securing these chemical weapons. I previously stated, and I continue to maintain, that there are enormous practical difficulties with doing it. And so Kerry is now out there trying to assess the how part of this, how we secure these weapons and keep them safe, potentially dismantle them, who would do this work, what kind of security would they need, because it could involve shipping weapons from one facility to another in the middle of a civil war, and in the middle of a civil war where there are al-Qaeda jihadists on the ground, and then where do they go from there? It's an enormously difficult task. One of the things you have to consider is whether or not the dismantling and safekeeping of these weapons will require us to go back on our promise to avoid putting boots on the ground, because it's the kind of work that requires technical experts to be there in Syria doing this work.
Oh, Jason, that's not what he meant. He meant different kinds of boots. Those are cleanup boots. These are military boots. It'll be totally different.
These are still boots that can get shot during a civil war.
I'm just teasing you, Jason.
Okay, well, it's still going to be maybe a difficult sell.
That's my point. My point is that ultimately
this.
Obama is going to have to do a kind of threading of the needle and say, well, I said no boots, but I meant militaristic boots. This is cleanup work to move weapons, and then we end up in a protracted battle anyway. That's my concern.
Right, and you should be concerned about this. Now, the second side of this is that Kerry's assessing the seriousness of Russia's offer. That's all to the good, because whether or not it's practically possible to actually do what we're talking about doing, go in and safeguard and secure these weapons, this little tiny window that's been opened could nevertheless yield a dividend that solves some or part of these problems. Even if we don't actually end up pursuing this process of securing weapons, the overture and the opportunity still could redound to our benefit. And so when you hear Kerry's over there assessing the seriousness of the Russian proposal, I think that he's not just assessing the seriousness of what's been proposed, but the seriousness of the other party in the discussion. And that's important.